I want to talk to you about getting the most out of any treatments and sessions and work, be that with me or in general, around your holistic well-being, and therefore increasing success, contentment, connection, intimacy, abundance in your life, and so forth, and about consistency of care. If you have worked with me before, have gotten around any of my content before, you might have heard me say nothing of value is being created overnight. And similarly, no decay is being created overnight either. But when it comes to speaking of no value is created overnight, that goes in particular when it comes to working on ourselves or anything in any way, shape, or form. So be that you having and working on your physical health goals, on any mental, emotional health, balance and empowerment, or success, abundance, contentment, getting your business up and running, and so forth in your life. It all requires consistent action and consistent care. And this is why when you choose to work with me, be that through Ayurvedic consults and a mentoring program, through private integrative yoga, integrative bodywork and so forth, I really emphasize for us to establish a care plan and consistency of care for you for exactly that reason. You know, if you go to the physio or chiropractor once or get a massage once, I hope you don't expect to be healed just like that, right? Because we know that everything is so multifaceted and everything goes so much deeper than what it appears to be on the surface. And you might also be aware of already that most of the symptoms we experience, in particular physical, but even any mental emotional stuff, it's not the root cause. Most of that stuff is a messenger for something that's going on underlyingly. And therefore, it needs time, it needs consistency and true commitment to improve. Also, a lot of those things are habit bound, right? Habits of ours, whether positive or negative. A habit basically means something that's easy to do, that's like our second nature, we do all the time because it has been reinforced for so long. Habits form through the repetition of a thing again and again and again until it becomes our normal and our default, essentially, and that goes for negative and positive habits. Therefore, if we're trying to break old habits or get to an elevated state of mind, body, emotion, and spirit, that all has to do with reinstilling new, more positive and supportive habits, and that does not happen overnight. Otherwise, we would all just wake up enlightened one day and being the best parent, the best partner, the best version of ourselves, just like that, without any effort. So when you're working with me, I generally emphasize to work out a action plan and plan of care along the lines of the following. When you first start working together, I really do recommend to have at least 6 follow-up sessions relatively frequently, or 6 sessions total. So depending on, your unique constitution, your where you're at in your life, your schedule and so forth, I recommend that to be every second week or once a month. And this is the reason I prefer and most commonly do mentoring programs with my clients instead of random one-off sessions, because you do get the most out of it, but you also get the best value for money, and it is a very cohesive thing, allowing us to go really deep. So 6 sessions at least. Some might choose 12, or you might repeat that cycle depending on what you're working on, how deep your imbalances and issues are. For example, if we are working on some mental emotional stuff, quite often that has deep roots in our childhood, in a past life, deeply ingrained trauma, limiting beliefs and conditioning that needs to be unraveled slowly in order to really create sustainable, lasting, long-term change and empower you as your own healer, your own guide and guru, seeking the wisdom from within instead of constantly outsourcing to different people, right? And we only achieve that if we can foster you understanding the tools that work for you not going by the book, but okay, what works according to where you're at, who you are, what you've experienced, and so forth. And that is the whole point of us working together, not to convey the information, but to help facilitate the transformation, and that's coming through that. So after those initial, firstly, more frequent sessions every fortnight or month, we're then going to move to ideally having one session with you per season. And that is because our body responds to the natural circadian rhythms. Hear the beautiful rain in the background? See, like the chop and change in seasons, in weather, in nature will create a chop and change and a necessary re-acclimatization or recalibration of our own body and being. So we go through changes with every new season of nature. That's why we emphasize cleansing techniques in Ayurveda and seasonal living. And with the seasons changing and you moving into different times and stages of your own life and so forth, it might take different things to find equilibrium again. And your equilibrium can be, you can be kind of brought out of balance through different things coming in as well. That might be environmental or to do with where you're at in your own life right now, right? So that's where we would then recommend to check in every season to go through, okay, right, how can we purify, cleanse, and nourish, really relevant to what works for you this season, and prepare for the coming season and do the same again and again and again. So that's quarterly check-ins. And then from there, ideally, we would check in once per year, unless you have more severe health issues, and that might, extend the initial periods of us working together, or we keep going to check in every 3 months, or it's very much dependent on what you go through. Like I said, so much has to do with ingrained limiting beliefs, conditioning, trauma. Chronic health conditions are very different to acute, just randomly occurring 2 weeks ago kind of things, right? So it's very individual in that sense. But this is just to give you a general overview of what the ideal care plan and our consistency of care would look like and for what reason. The reason we would check in once a year after we've been in the cycle of checking in quarterly is that by then you should have it down to, again, be your own healer, guidance, wisdom, and guru, to recalibrate yourself in each season to come and to recognize, okay, we're currently, shifting from spring to summer. This is what I need according to my own being, own mind, body constitution. And from there we move to yearly, because even though you might have the seasons down pack, you are now, moving through the broader cycle, which is like the daily cycle, the seasonal cycle, and then our lifetime cycle. You continue to move into different stages of life, according to which we might need to gently tweak and adjust a few different things that have worked for you previously when you were in a different stage of life and different situations and different environments and so forth, to what will work now. All right. Again, if you have any questions, you would like to discuss any of this deeper, or work out how we can come up with a unique, tailored to you treatment plan, action plan, and consistency of care, feel free to reach out to me and we discuss and take it from there.